I've just realised I've been talking on mute, so we're using the Vallejo surface primer. The models are 20 years old. They came in an unopened one, unfortunately, and some of them have got bits of silver on them. We're going to batch paint up all 10 today, hopefully in a relatively sort of quick fashion. So I'm going to re-prime everything just to make sure that I've got a good sort of base on a lot of the stuff. I could clean the models up, but it feels like a lot of effort for not much. I'm not too concerned about the Uruk-Hai if they don't look messy. I've got another 20 of these as well, so let's just paint them up with this. So let's switch over. I'm going to use my airbrush and might put a little bit of flowing powder in, so it's just this stuff. Just going to put a little bit of that in as well. We've got 10 to do, so we'll probably need quite a bit. Let's give everything a... Some of this volume might be a bit funny. Just use a cheap brush to give it a mix together. So I thought I'd live stream this one because I have already painted up some Uruk-Hai for a video that we got in, I think, magazine 2 or 3. So I don't really need to record another one, so I thought we could live stream. It's probably going to be on for quite a few hours, I think. Hopefully we get some viewers join and say hello. What I might be able to do is get this video afterwards and break it down, but I've not done that yet with YouTube, but I'll see if it's possible to do. Need a bit of scrap paper. Just going to make sure that the sort of paint's flowing out okay. It looks fine, and I might just get myself a glove as well. Just save my hands getting covered in black. I've got loads of these gloves from 3D printing, so I need a lot of these gloves around. Use them more nowadays for painting than I do for 3D printing. So let's switch over. Hopefully this camera works okay. I've tried to get it into like a good position, but as you know, with these models, they're quite small. But hopefully this picks up okay. And obviously with it being black as well, it's sometimes difficult to see. It's quite difficult for me to tell if it's been coated or not, but again, I'm not overly worried. I'm going to do a relatively simple, quick paint job for these guys. And we've got 10 of them to do as well, so I don't want to be spending hours on each one. I've got this handle, which I can't remember what it's called now, but it comes with these where you can detach them. It's just got magnets in. Really handy to paint. I've got 2 of them, and each one comes with 4 tops, so it's quite good for batch painting. And hopefully when we're batch painting, by the time we get to the last one of each sort of piece of painting, the first ones will be dry. At least that's the hope. I can see the paint is coming on, but I think I've got a bit too much thinner in. We don't actually need to cover too much, so we'll see what it's like when it dries. I've probably also got some gluing to do since the just fell off of this one. I thought he'd done all the gluing. I'm just trying to fix this little guy up. There we go. It's the problem with a tight camera angle is I need the tight camera angle because everything's so small. As you can see, that's bouncing around, so we are going to have to glue him. I thought I'd done all this, so let's find the glue. Use a bit of Tamiya thin. Just going to use this stuff. Dries relatively quickly, but it's really good for plastics. Sorry if this is a little bit off camera. This arm really doesn't want to go on there. Right, let's put him to the side. He can dry for a little while. So we just I've just glued his arms on. So I'm just going to put him to the side and we'll come back and undercoat him once he's dried up. Hopefully I don't have too many more of those. Need to swap this one over now. I also got myself a drink today, so in my little 3D printed thing with a can inside. Should keep me going for a little while at least. It's like the most boring stage in terms of watching is undercoating, but when you just got a few models to undercoat, it can be quite a relaxing thing and quite satisfying seeing it all turned. And if you're wondering why they're already black, I'm just applying another layer of undercoat to each of the models. We've got 10 of these guys to get through today. Got a relatively simple paint job. On my channel you will find a sort of video on how to paint Uruk-Hai. But because magazine 10, which is the current magazine in the series that I'm working on, there is I've already painted 10 and I need to paint another 10, and I got these with magazine 10. I realise that's a lot of 10s. So I thought it'd be quite a good one to live stream. We can see how long it takes to batch paint. I'm going to try stay on stream all the way through so we can do every single model. And we'll go through a little bit on the plans for how we're going to paint these up. These have been in a box for 20 years. So if you're more interested in the paint job, we will get to that once we go through the undercoating stage. I did contemplate doing this offline, but then I thought, well, just stream everything. So if you are on, just a little hello would be nice. You don't have to engage too much, but it'd be nice to see if anybody's on the stream. I do like the Uruk-Hai in the movies, but I'm not actually a huge fan of the This looks like it's going on really thick, but it's not actually. It's just the light is catching it, so it kind of looks like it's gone on thick. So yeah, sorry, I was saying I love the Uruk-Hai in the movies, but I'm not a huge fan of these models. They're all a bit sort of samey, really. Switch over to a different handle because I've run out of the other ones. I don't know what happened to the guy who originally sort of painted these up, but he must have thought I'll undercoat them and then got bored once he got into actually painting them. So 20 years later, they finally get to look how they should. Oh, hi Andre, nice set. Thank you. Thanks for the thumbs up. One thing that has happened in the last 20 years is this guy has lost its shield, and so I figure we'll just accept that he's been injured somehow, lost his hand. I'll have to use a different profile when I battle with him, like he's not actually got a shield anymore. He's the one-handed Uruk-Hai. Let's see. Just give this glue a little check, see if it's set enough for us to paint. Yeah, that looks good. Let's give these ones an undercoat, and that should be the undercoat done. I'll check the first model and we'll see what it looks like. I'm normally a bit more delicate with the airbrush, to be honest, but since I'm undercoating and there's already a layer on here, I'm a little bit heavy-handed. Let's just give all these guys a quick check. So that's hopefully the last one of that. So let's check the first one. So this is the first one we undercoated, so it should be dry now. It looks dry. It looks like it's got quite a nice coat actually, now that it's all evened out. It's hard to pick up black on the screen because it's black on black. I've tried to place a light so you can see some of the details, but it doesn't look bad. I think you can see it. As we get more detail onto the model, it should clear up. So I am going to have to clean my airbrush out now, but I'll just give every model just a quick look and make sure that we're happy with the undercoat. Always worth double checking just before you clean everything up, because I don't know if you guys are like me, but just cleaning anything is one of my big problems. My desk ends up a massive mess. I tried to be organised, but it's still messy. Okay, this needs a little bit extra. I did wonder when I'm streaming if I'm allowed to play music in the background. Normally when I'm painting and I'm painting on my own, I've got a TV just on my wall, which I tend to put Lord of the Rings movie on. So I do tend to watch that movie about 5 or 6 times a year. So I do like to just put it on and listen to the music while I'm painting Lord of the Rings. I am a little bit of a geek like that. Right, I think we are good. Yeah, these look good, so we can probably move on to the painting stage in a second. I just need to clean all this up. So we've got quite a lot of paint still left in here. So just I keep a couple of buckets down here. I'll see if I can show you. Keep a couple of buckets up here, which I use exclusively for tipping stuff like this in or cleaning and keep water, because I'm working in my loft and I don't have a water source up here, so I have to clean everything through buckets to save myself going up and down. Ever so I give my airbrush like a sort of a rough clean, and then ever so often I give it like a deep clean. Particularly this one, I only use it for undercoating. So once it's sort of cleaned out, you can see it gets most of the paint, and just a paper towel in there gets the rest out. And then we can move on. So I'm just going to move this out of the way now. We don't need that. Let's go back to the first model. So what we're going to do is we're going to, because the majority of this model is in metal, we're just going to dry brush him. And we're just going to give him a light dry brush with lead belcher. So I'll switch back to this camera and we can see how I do this. I've got this, I tend to use this piece of MDF. You can see I've already been using it for the Uruk-Hai Captain in the last video that I did. So just take some, and I can probably take this glove off now too. Cheers. So I'm just going to use lead belcher. I moved all my Citadel paints. I don't know if anybody's seen these. I moved all my Citadel paints when I first got them into these pots, because everybody on YouTube was doing it at the time and saying how much better it was than the Games Workshop pots. And to be honest, I've regretted doing it since we moved across. All the ends of this get bunged up. I have to clean them out. Ever so often they get so bunged up, you squeeze them and it comes shooting out. So I'm not convinced they're better than than just using the Games Workshop pots, but I moved every single one of my paints into them. So for dry brushing, we're just going to take a little bit of this and we're going to wipe the majority off. I'm using the Games Workshop dry brush. I only really use this for this sort of metalwork. The bristles are quite stiff, so it does work quite nicely. And then we're just going to dry brush everywhere actually. I'm not going to worry too much about getting it on the skin because we're going to touch that up afterwards. We literally just go over everything and we don't worry about it too much. Nice quick way of making them look quite good once you sort of get all the layers on. We're also later in this stream going to be oil washing. So we'll do a bit of oil washing on these, because I did that on the Uruk-Hai Captain and it worked really nicely. So hopefully you can definitely see that coming through there on camera. Guess I don't know if you're watching it on your phone. If you're watching it on a desktop or a TV, it's probably fine, but phone might be a bit small actually. Not too much I can do about that, like the figures are small. Can't zoom in much further. That should be the majority of the metals. I'm just going to give it a quick check. Maybe a little bit more. We can be quite aggressive with this because we will be covering it over later. And these sort of models really are, once you've got 10 of them like all lined up, is really when they sort of come together. I'm not a big fan of spending 5 hours painting up one model, you know, when you've got 10 of these to do. Like, I'm hoping we can get through them all on this stream, which maybe is going to be It's going to be, what, 3 or 4 hours, I guess, in total? Maybe 3 hours. I did start quite late though, so I've been working all day today, so yeah. Had to get some tea before I came and streamed. I'm hoping this gets picked up on camera. If you are watching, give me a shout or even just a thumbs up again, just to let me know that you can actually see the details. Like I say, I can't zoom in much more, just because they are like so small. Let's see if we can speed up these next ones. We're gonna try go a little bit heavier on the dry brush, so I won't wipe quite as much off. Let's see if we can get this done quicker. That's quite heavy now. Maybe I can just use a slightly lighter touch and see if I can make it a bit. Oh, that's better. Okay, so I can put a bit more paint on, but just go slightly lighter on the touch. Yeah, okay, that's better. I think it's a bit quicker. Okay, that's the wrong handle. So there is, I think there's 5 with spear, 5 with shield and sword. I much prefer the shield and sword ones. The spear ones there, a little bit flimsy on the spear. I've snapped a few of them and had to re-glue them together. I actually just like the shield on these. I think the shield's a really cool design for these guys. And the poses are much better, quite dynamic poses. Just like that, as if to prove my point. Right, I'm gonna have to glue this on now. I didn't snap it, to be fair. I'm pretty sure I just forgot to glue it. So I'll just stick this on and see if we're okay. This is when everybody who's a perfectionist sort of screams at the screen because it's still got undercoat on and I've not cleaned it. It's not going to adhere properly, all that sort of stuff. But don't worry about that. I'll leave that guy to dry. Let's move on. I don't know if anybody who's watching actually plays this or you just happen to find the stream. I would like to know. I'm sort of testing the streaming, sort of seeing what YouTube streaming is like, if it's something that will help. I'm trying to build a channel. Like the main idea behind the channel, going through all the magazines, is to sort of show painting every single model along the way and doing some modelling. And I'm also learning YouTube as well. I've only been on for maybe 2-3 months, maybe. So I'm just sort of learning how to do the video editing, how to do the streaming, getting the equipment that you need to be able to sort of do these things. So I'm really learning. So any feedback is really good. I was also conscious of the Yorkshire accent and whether that actually comes across to a YouTube audience particularly well. But then we have had Game of Thrones, and that really does help the Yorkshire accent, or Northern accent, I should say. You can see these handles they're so quick for this batch painting. You know, you can prepare all your models, you can have them all on, and sort of switch over. The fact you can spin them round is really handy when you're doing sort of finer detail work. It makes it really easy to sort of reposition your model. Of course, if you don't put enough sticky on it, it tends to throw it off as well. The arm is loose, I might have to reconnect that. Clearly, I should have spent more time preparing these models than I actually have done. I'm just, if you can see on here, I'm just reattaching the arm. I've just pulled it off. So these models have they were in someone's garage for 20 years, and I did a sort of preliminary check. I was sort of quite happy with the majority of them, but now I'm a bit more detailed into them. I can see that I should have spent a bit more time just making sure everything was connected properly. There we go. He's back together. He's been dry brushed, so he should that glue should dry. Switch over to the Games Workshop model handle. Sorry. I assume this handle is probably the one that most people sort of bought. This sort of Games Workshop spring-loaded one. It is relatively comfortable, but once I bought those other ones, I almost exclusively use those and don't use this at all really. Just sits in my drawer now. I only got it out today because I'm doing 10 models and I've only got 8 handles, so I might buy another handle actually. I think the paint on the palette's dried up a little bit too much. I'll say palette, it's a bit of spare MDF that I had. As you can see, I've got a laser cut this out, so this is just a bit of spare that I didn't size properly. And then we've got one last guy now for the dry brushing who we've lost the shield in the last 20 years, so I've decided just to play him like he's lost his arm. We're just going to see how he does in battle. There was a time when I was collecting and painting these, that would have not been acceptable for me, and I would have been looking at how do I 3D model something, how do I print it out, how do I mold something out of green stuff. And actually I sort of let that go about a year ago and just started to try enjoying the hobby rather than being worried about it, things being completely perfect. I think if you watch a lot of YouTube, there's so many amazing painters out there. It can be a little bit disheartening when you see how good they are, and you sort of think you need to hit that same sort of level. And then you start looking at, well, what brushes do they use, what paints do they use, how do they mix them, how many drops of paint do they put in each paint pot. All those sort of things sort of went through my mind, and I spent a long time trying to match the exact recipes. And once I let that go, it became a lot more fun miniature painting, just sort of painting how you want to paint, and not being too worried about getting the exact colour match. Obviously for some people they're purists and that's like the bit they enjoy, but for me, letting go of that really did improve, really made me enjoy the hobby a lot more. And it's a bit more fun actually. You tend to experiment a little bit more when you're not too worried about messing something up or it being the slightly wrong shade of green. So we've done the dry brushing. Oh no, we've got one left, which was the guy who we had to glue his arms on at the start. So he should be dry now. He is. So let's just get this guy dry brushed up. Now this is going to be a problem for me in streaming, is I normally have an audio book playing in the background while I'm painting, and I'm pretty sure that will go against some streaming rules if I've got the audio book playing in the background. So I've decided to go silent. I'm also not sure how long I'll be live streaming for to like nobody, without really knowing who's on or if anyone's on. Or do I just need to spend the next 6 months like live streaming to myself? Or do you slowly build an audience with live streaming, like you do a few and it's small audience and then you sort of build your viewers? Sounds like that would be the case, but I don't really know. Okay, I think we're good on the dry brushing. So that's like the really quick bit done. So you can see when I'm cleaning this, all I'm really doing is just getting the majority of the paint off, just dry really. And ever so often I give these a proper soak. Right, so now we've done that, let's switch this back to the first model. See if he's a good one to do. I want something with a bit more flesh on actually. Well, I suppose technically it doesn't really matter because we have to do all of them. I'm just this guy's hands become a little bit loose. I'm just going to glue it back on. Be back 1 second. I know what the notification was that I was getting. I was still on mute. So I was just saying I'm going to paint it up with this mahogany colour, but it's quite thin, this colour, so I need to cover the what's black and a little bit silver on the skin. So I'm just going to use this bone white. So I just need a little palette. I think I've got one of those Games Workshop ones which should be quite good somewhere in here. I'll just use that. I'll just use this one. I don't use these too often, but should be good for this. When I first started getting back into the painting, I sort of went to the Games Workshop shop and spent a fortune on stuff that I didn't actually need. For some reason I thought I really needed a Citadel palette pad because anything else clearly wouldn't do. Don't know if anybody else uses Games Workshop, but it does tend to be a thing where you feel you need all the Games Workshop stuff. I'm going to need a relatively small brush, not too small, so I've got these are the brushes that I use for this sort of work. These are my Raphael Kalinsky Sables, the 8408s, 8408s. Do have a few of them. Yeah, 8408s. These ones. I've got a few of them, but I've had them a while, and the bristles have got a little bit damaged. They don't create such a fine point anymore. So I tend to use them for this sort of work where I don't need super detail. I've got a number of sizes. A 2, a 1 and a 0. The 0 I tend to use more than anything else, but the 1's like a really good. If I was only buying one, I would buy the sort of the number 1 brush. So let's have a look. I'm not 100% sure on the consistency for this, so we'll do a little test on this model. Also, I'm going to have to put my glasses on so I can actually see the work, because I'm getting older now and my eyesight's not so good. So I see some of these painters who paint these tiny figures. I don't know how they do it. Just looking for a tissue. Let's put a bit of water with that. Looking for a relatively sort of smooth consistency with without going too thin. It's a really tough one to judge, is the sort of consistency of paint. A lot of it is down to like how you paint. That sort of looks good. Get the majority of the paint off the brush. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to put my these on. I don't know if you use these, but they make your eyes look amazing. Hopefully I'll switch this over and see if I can keep it in shot as well. I'm hoping you can see this. It seems to be covering okay. It's leaving a little bit more black than I wanted, because I'm hoping not to have to do 2 coats, because with 10 models 2 coats could take a while. So what we could do is do a couple, come back and see what it looks like once we put the mahogany on top of one layer. You get his legs and in between his boots. Probably in a top-down angle would be good actually, so you could just see straight down. And we'll do his face as well. You can sort of see into his visor, but I think that'd just be black anyway, really. So I don't think we need to do that. So I think it's just going to be legs, face. Hands are covered. There's a little bit on his arm just there, so we probably just need to make sure that's covered. Okay, that looks alright. You can see I'm not being like super precise with some of this painting. These models, like they tend to look quite good once you've got, like, I'm gonna have 20 of these on the battlefield, so it's not like a showpiece model or anything. It's a rank and file model, so they tend to look quite good anyway, particularly at a distance. Sometimes if you use these glasses, you see everything really close, and you sort of see all the minute imperfections. But I've never had one person yet come up and say they saw that tiny little bit of white paint got onto the red cloak. Like, everybody just says, oh, they look really good. Obviously, if you're painting for competition, I'm not your man to follow, because those details really do count. And if you are bothered about it, which I am on some of the sort of single models, then I do go back and sort of touch up. I tend to work in layers, so I'll sort of work relatively quickly and then go back and sort of touch up where I've hit the wrong place. It's much more efficient way than trying to paint everything perfectly the first time round. Here's a little face. What does Legolas say? The armour's weak around the neck, and is it around the joints as well? I mean, looking at it here, then the armour is definitely weak on the legs. For some reason the arms are exposed. So we'll do one more and then we'll jump back to the first model and we'll test and see what the mahogany paint, how the mahogany paint is covering. Oh yeah, that's cool, Stephen. Yeah, I think they do tend to be a lot of people's first. I mean, you get so many, and they are a very strong force as well. I do own a load more of these that I need to paint up at some point, but I'm doing these ones because in magazine 9 we didn't have a battle game. Well, we did have a battle game, but it needed 20 Uruk-Hai, and the next batch of Uruk-Hai came with magazine 10, so I'm painting these up so I can actually do the battle report properly. It seems a bit strange that they released the magazines. If anyone's not aware, let me quickly show you. I should have one to hand. And I've said that, and I don't have one to hand now. Which is a little bit annoying. Where have they all gone? Oh, there's one over here. See if I can reach without breaking my stuff. Yeah, me too, Stephen. It's the next battle game is a big battle game actually. Well, big for me because I've been doing a lot of the smaller scenarios. And I think there's the best part of 45 models on there. So it's these that we're doing. The Battle Games in Middle Earth magazines. So there's 90 odd of them, 91 I think, plus 3 sort of specials. And these models came with this. Actually, that looks quite nice in the background. Maybe that should be my background instead of this this black. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Particularly there's been a build. So even though this is a painting stream, there's been a build that I've been looking forward to for a while, which is Rohan houses. So I'm currently just working on all the templates for the Rohan houses, so we can make stables and blacksmiths and single houses and maybe something a bit bigger. So I'm sort of currently working on those templates, and I've been looking forward to building them for a while. And they come in to play for magazine 10 as well. And they're really fun to build. That's actually my other 2 streams have been test streams for those. And what have we got on here? We got this. I'm just going to leave that arm there because it'll look strange. Actually, you can see quite a lot of it from the front, so I'm just going to I'm going to actually colour that in. Where's the focus gone on this? Has it gone onto my hand? Okay, that's that one. Shall we let's have a look and see how the mahogany covers, and then we'll know whether we need to paint multiple layers. Hopefully not, because I don't really want to paint all 10 with multiple layers. I've got a feeling we might need to do multiple layers of mahogany. Give my face a rest from those. So I'm just cleaning my brushes. Again, look, we've got the Citadel pots. It's a bit like I'm a little bit like a Games Workshop fanboy, or at least that's the way, the way it appears. I did start off with a lot of Games Workshop stuff. And it was my introduction, as it was for many, into the gaming hobby, as for everything really. Right, so let's have a look. Model 1 should be dry. Definitely looks dry. You can see it's not a... Let me move this actually. I can see it's not a perfect covering. It comes in pints. It does, Stephen. Yeah. It's a way for me to have a little drink, but without it being on. So it just sort of fits there. I can tell I still need to finish painting it. Actually, I painted the wood, but it's quite a fun way of having a drink while I'm streaming until I run out. Right, let's give this a little coating with this one, and let's just see how it covers. Actually, if we get a nice red shade off it, that's really all we're looking for. It'll be quite good if you get a nice red shade. We're going to apply an oil wash on the end, and that really will bring all the colours together. Like, it really helps all the colours. It tends to look like so much better, even with the like all the sort of different shades on the skin tend to look quite good. Don't usually use these brushes with these sort of thinner paints. You can see these paints are model air paints. They're really made for going through the airbrush, and they cover really nicely through the airbrush. They don't cover quite as well with with a brush. But I love this mahogany colour for the Uruk-Hai skin. I used it on the last video I did, and it just makes a really nice shade. And that actually covers really nicely from this sort of viewing distance that you tend to play at. And we are going to apply some additional layers on top, so we're going to give this a wash to sort of give it a bit more of a red shade afterwards. So that'll help. That, along with the oil wash, is probably going to be totally fine. I'm going to put my glasses back on. I do feel like I'm rushing through these a little bit. I wonder if that's because I'm on stream and it feel like it should be done quicker. I guess if we don't like them, we can do them again. I actually think they look totally fine. Actually, hard to tell when it's still wet. This mixture of mahogany on this sort of light colour, we don't have to worry too much with the mahogany going on the black. It sort of just tints it a little bit. We can really just, as you can see, you just sort of slap it on and it looks quite good. I do find with painting, and if any of you guys paint, which I know Stephen you do, you go through a stage where everything sort of doesn't quite look right and you're a little bit disappointed, but you just have to sort of keep going, layering up your colours, painting up the additional details, getting your washes on, and your sort of final highlights, and then it all sort of comes together in the end. I'm quite happy with these with one coat actually. You can see the first one's drying a little bit. I think that colour is going to be really nice, so if we can just do one coat of both the white and the mahogany, we can move on again. Right, so I think I'm just going to give this another check, make sure I'm sort of happy with the. I think I am happy with that. It looks okay. It's a bit hard for me to show you because if I zoom in any closer, the focus drops to the back and I can't actually get much closer. Which is why I am at this distance. This camera might pick it up. Let me have a look. This camera does allow me to. Nope, that don't work either. So this is what we've got. You can see the sort of colours that we've got on there. I could. I'm just trying to get my. I've got one of these little lights. See if that just shines on it a bit and lightens it up so you can see it. There we go. So that should be okay. So let's do the. We've got another 7 to do. I wonder if I'd like to get through everything on stream today, but I think if we do all 10, we might have time. But let's give it a go. Right, I've just snapped that one. That one's going into a pile to finish later. some of this plastic does get a little bit fragile after 20 years in someone's garage. Let's move on to this one. Need more drink when I'm talking too much. Sorry, I'll switch it over to here. I'm just mixing up a bit more of this white paint. I'll go for a slightly thinner. Should do. I don't know how I painted without these glasses before, because they help so much in being able to see that. Oops, that's going to be a problem. I can't turn the model, it's hitting the spears hitting on the metal things there. I have to turn the whole thing, which is a bit more awkward for me. It used to feel ridiculous wearing these glasses when I first started painting, like I should just have amazing eyes and could see super close, and then I realised that I don't care what anybody else thinks about my amazing glasses, because they make painting a lot easier. Is anybody that's on, like, used to watching streams, can just answer me the question, like, if someone's streaming, how long would you like expect them to stream? Like, if you were viewing it on Twitch or something, which I realise is more sort of game, but how long would you sort of think a stream like this would last? Because it's clearly not a long format video, like give me all the information. It's more of a like watch someone do something. It feels really peculiar to me, like it should be like quicker, more detail, quicker. You know, that sort of TikTok brain idea. I do like this one particularly. I think this particular pose is like really good for this Uruk-Hai with shield. Reminds me of the one that sort of stands on the rock in the Two Towers. We're getting through them now anyway. We're going through nicely. Let's go. This is a weird pose actually. Like, I don't understand this pose. It's like his head's tilted slightly as well. It's a bit weird. I don't know what he's doing. It feels like a ballet dancer or something rather than a like deadly Uruk-Hai. I highlight my life and what it brings. Nice to see you on. Yeah, I have no idea either really. I guess I'll just keep going and see what happens. The research says 3 hours. Seems like an extraordinarily long time for me. Just bear with me a second, guys. I need to remember to unmute myself. Sorry about that. This is my wife just popping up to see if I was streaming by asking me if I was streaming. Okay, how many more of these have we got to go? This is a much better sort of pose actually. I wonder if these poses are different from the poses in the first set I got, because they don't feel different, unless the person who glued them together differently. Feel a bit more static, these poses. Get in there, please. I think I might have. Did I forget the face on the last model? No, I didn't. These might be the worst models for painting on the stream. So everything's so black. Everything's like really dark on it. It doesn't really pick up on the camera. No, I'm going to stop apologising for the stream now. You have to just watch what I'm doing and enjoy it. My paint has dried a little bit too much. I'm just adding a bit more water back into it. We've not got actually many more to do, so don't need any more paint. You can probably tell when you're watching me painting that I'm not too concerned about painting in the lines as such. The models themselves are like very dark, and there's lots of little sort of crevices on here, which does help us in terms of covering any small mistakes. And you can obviously follow the same sort of method of doing this, but like just be a bit more careful if you want. If you're only running one army, and your army is Uruk-Hai, let's say you got the new battle host set or something, the Isengard battle host, and you can take a bit more time. The recipe will sort of stand up really well. It's a super simple painting recipe for this this paint job, but actually I think really like effective. So this spear has snapped off of this guy, so I'll pop that back on in a second. I'm just going to check all the models. Yep, we've covered them all. Let's give my brush a little clean and give my face a little rest from wearing those glasses. get myself another drink, although it's running a bit low this, so I might need to get another one. Cheers. I'm going to have to repaint this up actually, because it's I need to get the metal bands painted at the bottom, so I must have stopped halfway through. I'll at least put a model up here. I'm just cleaning my brush while we wait for this we'll wait for that paint to dry a little bit. I'm just going to do the coat of this mahogany on everything next. So that needs to be too precise with the cleaning, but get most of that paint out. Yeah, it does. My life. It's sort of this thing is like made to hold a sort of typical can size. Although this one is particularly tight, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get that can out of it. Hopefully I can, because I want to put another one inside it. Right, that's the last one I did, so let's switch that over and paint this one, I think. Nope. Thought I had another model that fit on there, obviously not. I'm just going to give these a quick look, because I've messed up the order now. But they look dry. Yeah, I did 3D print it. Yeah, I actually 3D printed two, so that when I was playing the game with my daughter, she could have her own drink. We would play Farm and Maggot's Field particularly, and she would have her drink and I would have mine, and we could just play along. It was quite a fun little thing. So I shouldn't have to water this down because it's quite thin already, and we're just going to slap that all over. So this is mahogany, so it will give it. It's more of a brown than a red, and the Uruk-Hai skin is quite reddish. It's really patchy, so it's like patchy reds and browns, and this sort of. The fact that this paint's runny, it almost acts a little bit like a contrast paint, but not exactly like a contrast paint. And it dries a little bit patchy as well, which I think sort of gives a nice effect for the Uruk-Hai skin. I think you could probably get the same effect by using any sort of brown paint. A Rhinox hide actually thinned down would probably be really good for this, because Rhinox hide's got a bit of a red tinge to it, so that would probably work quite nicely. You can see that's pretty quick to do that, so let's get through the rest of them, and then we should just be able to wash the skin. Which will bring the wash that we'll use will be Carabao Crimson, and that's going to bring a lot of the sort of red shade into the skin. Again, you can see I'm not too worried about getting this sort of paint on any of the other areas really. Paint's already drying on this palette. I think working in my loft, like something about the air seems to dry the paints extremely quick, like much quicker than if I'm painting in my. I need to remember my models on camera so I can make sure that you can actually see the model when I'm painting it. I mean, it is quite difficult to get them on camera because they are so small, so it's quite difficult to make sure everything sort of stays in shot. We've only got 2 more to do now. Not sure how long I've been streaming actually, and I can't see any information, so my life and what it brings. If you're still on, can you just let me know how long I've been going for? And the last one. Okay, so about an hour. Maybe a little bit longer. That's not bad. We've got, in that hour, we've underpainted, we've undercoated 10 of the models, we've dry brushed all 10, we've glued and fixed some, we've painted the white as an undercoat for the skin, and we have now, once I've finished this last one, we have painted the skin in the mahogany colour that we're using. That's not bad in an hour. That's what, 10 minutes per model? No, that's terrible maths. 6 minutes per model. Great stuff. Right, so that's all those done. So let's have a. These are the first models we did, which should be nice and dry now. We just need to decide what we're going to paint next. We could do the red colour. We could shade up in red onto the skin, and that sort of does finish the skin off nicely actually. So let's do that. Just cleaning my brush. So what have we got left on the model? We've got the skin to coat, then we've got small amounts of cloth on them, and my last army I did that cloth in Uruk-Hai flesh or something along those colours, so I'm going to distinguish these a little bit different by using some Death Guard green to be the base colour for the cloth. Sort of means that this group of 10 Uruk-Hai will be slightly different. And to finish, we might do some freehanding for the Hand of Saruman on maybe a couple of the shields or something. I'll sort of just bring a few little extra details to some, but it's really sort of an optional extra, that one. So let's move on to giving the skin a slight red tone, and hopefully this will pick up on camera. The fact that it's a bit more of a sort of subtle change into this red shade, which you can definitely see in person, but let's see if it does show up on camera or not. Shouldn't really use this brush for for a shade because it soaks right up into the bristle. So let me just see if I've got a cheaper brush. I've got some of these. Oh, I know what I'll use. I know what I will use. I got this a while ago and put a little group of paints in it. Brushes, sorry. The map, for some reason, I decided to cut the print off there. But these brushes are actually quite nice brushes, but they're not crazy expensive. So one of these should be quite good for doing the shades. So what size are we looking at? Maybe a 1. Got something that holds quite a bit. So this one would probably be suitable. Should hold a bit of paint while still allowing us to get into the detail. Where did I put the here we go. Managed to lose it. Right, let's go. Let's get some of this paint on. I feel like I've been saying for 10 minutes to get some of this paint on. Let's get some on. We'll see how much this holds. It should be good. When I take a step back actually and look at these models, they are starting to look really good. So you can see this sort of brown shade. Let's see what it looks like once we get some red on. Hopefully it does alter the shade. It's not a strong red actually. There's quite a bit of blue in this shade. That does give us like the cooler, darker shades that the Uruk-Hai skin does have. I'm not sure how well that's picked up. I think you can sort of see it, but it has definitely changed the shade to more of a red shade. I think I got a bit too much of the shade on my brush. Just going to see if I can soak some of that off. There we go. I got a little bit too much on there. I might see what they look like with a second coat. So let's fly through these as quick as we can. Let that shade dry. Yeah, I think you can see that it's picking up a shade. I mean, I definitely can see it. It's changing the brown to more of a red. If we need to, which I don't think we will, I can always use like a watered down ink or something. Will give us a much sort of stronger red shade. You can see as well, I don't need to be too careful with this when you're doing this sort of shading. Particularly as everything's like black around the skin. There's a lot of quite finely detailed teeth on these Uruk-Hai, so we're probably going to have to make sure we pick those up. Let this dry. Yep. Definitely gonna snap that soon. I can already see with the skin when I'm looking close. Hey, mate, how you doing? Nice to see you on. We're just going through some Uruk-Hai painting. We're on like stage 4 at the minute. Going to be using some oil paints as well shortly. We're just sort of doing a quick job because we've already seen a video of these ones, so I thought I'd live stream these ones. Okay, West, for anybody who's watching, has been probably one of the first subscribers to the channel. I think when it was sub 100, if I'm right, and first patron member as well when it was sub 100, and has been going on there ever since. So really thankful for the support, and My Life and What It Brings has been around for a while as well. It's been supporting for a couple of months now, and is active on a lot of the streams. So really do appreciate you sort of joining and watching the streams and interacting, and obviously the financial support as I'm building the channel is massively helpful. Okay, a little bit of EverQuest, eh? I've been playing the old Lord of the Rings games, and I can't actually remember what it's called, but it was built on the Warcraft 3 engine. It's probably about 20 years old. Completely forgot what it's called. War of the Ring. That's amazing. I appreciate that as well. Just all sharing and things, so that when I see videos have been shared, it's probably down to you, K West. But genuinely appreciate all the support you continued to give. Right, I've just noticed we've missed one model, so I'm just going to have to quickly give this guy give him a coat in brown in the mahogany. Hopefully it's not dried yet. Dried quite a lot, but let's see if we can do it anyway. Now there we go. It does normally happen this well, at least for me, when I am batch painting, I nearly always miss one little bit. Like I'll get right to the end of the 10th model and realised I forgot to paint a leg or a boot or something similar. Which I think one of these I might have done. I wonder if I could have changed the tone of the mahogany before I did the painting. Oh well. So I'm going to just put that one to the side because he needs a red. what we saying, K West? Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it shouldn't fizzle out. I don't think. I do tend to stick things through to the end. I think the biggest difficulty for me is time. I've got a family. Like it takes a long time to do the recording. I don't want to lock myself away in the loft every time that I need to do something and spend hours and hours. I've got two girls, obviously a wife. So it shouldn't fizzle out. It's just it tends to be the speed that I can get the things out because I'm working full time as well. I do 50 plus hours a week in a relatively stressful job. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoy this. For me, it's a massive part of relaxation for me. I've got all the magazines, so I should be going through. So yeah, hopefully it won't fizzle out. But obviously, the bigger it gets, the more I get to talk to people like you. Like, just really helps. Really makes me feel like at least somebody's getting something out of it. And I realise I'm not, I'm not going to get a million subscribers to this sort of channel, but I think 100k is reasonable to sort of expect. And I wanted to learn how to do it. I'm always learning how to do stuff, so I wanted to learn how to do this. So this was my idea for doing it. So some of these haven't yet dried, probably because I was quite thick with the paint. So what we could look at doing, I think, while these dry is, as I sort of mentioned on a lot of the other ones, there's tiny little bits of cloth on the model, which you could probably get away without painting, but I think I'm going to give them that Death Guard green colour, and that'll probably go on nicer while we wait for the rest of the paint to dry. The other thing you could do if you were taking a bit more time is there's lots of little like straps of leather on here, sort of round the chain mail, round the belt. I'm not actually going to paint those on here, but if you wanted to painting those up, could like add a little bit more detail to your model. I did paint them on the Uruk-Hai Captain, but that's because I tend to put a bit more detail into the single models. Okay, so yeah, let's do the. Let me just check to see if this last one's dried. I think he's dried enough that we can put some red wash on him. So hopefully, K West, I will see you at the end. We've got, I mean, I'm working on the 10th magazine now. So we've got another, not down my masses, another 81 magazines to go through. With a picture of Sharky on the last one. I mean, it feels like at the rate we're going, that's about 2 years worth of work. So we'll hopefully in that 2 years we can get to that 100k mark. That's really like the goal. The biggest goal for me actually is just learning how to do this properly. Like I love editing the videos. It's like quite a fun part for me. I know a lot of people sort of outsource that stuff, but I actually really like that, sitting down and editing my videos. I'm just going to pop off for 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Yeah, 81 does sound like a lot, but also I'm precisely 12% of the way there. That's good. I think some of the builds are going to be a bit bigger. I think we won't make quite so many little fences, so they might take a little bit longer. But they are the ones I'm like looking forward to building something bigger. Particularly the Mines of Moria, I think comes up in about 10 magazines. So I think that's going to be fun. Rohan houses are next, and they're actually taking quite a lot of time up just preparing like what they look like. And yeah, the production side is definitely like fun for me. I went out and bought DaVinci Resolve along with a studio, what's it called, DaVinci Resolve speed editor. So if you Google speed editor, it's got like a little toggle wheel on, so I can sort of go through the timeline. It's a lot of fun, like editing the timeline with this toggle. It makes me feel very professional. Learning how to audio is like a whole big thing. How to cut the videos is another thing. And also learning to try make the videos as like engaging as possible without it being boring is quite tough. It's hard to tell what people like and don't like watching, so I think I'm learning. Yeah, and I do hope it will like snowball a bit at 1K. I can see like more and more people coming through, and the more I'm active, the more people subscribe. There's still a lot of people who watch who don't subscribe, which like I need to work out how to do that. But I think that's the same for every channel, right? You always see these people who say 95% of people who watch aren't subscribed. So I tend to see that a lot. And the same with my Patreon actually, which I know you're on there. I try to like give value to that. So like for every magazine, I upload either 3D models or templates so you can follow your own, and make those available. I'll try to think of like more stuff as well to sort of bring onto Patreon. I do like to I give as much out on there as I can. I've just created actually, while I think about it, I've just created this Proxon cutter. I did this on the weekend. So I created this guide, which if you've got a Proxon cutter, it sort of sits on the Proxon and you can slide it up and down. So I modelled this up in Blender, and this allows you to sort of cut perfect angles on the Proxon. Which if you do any terrain modelling, you've probably seen a Proxon. So I'll make this file available as well, so anybody who wants to can make their own one of these. I'm going to do a few other angle ones as well. So same again, I'll make those available, and I know those themselves, if you want to buy one, which not everybody does, I appreciate, but those themselves, if you want to buy the plans, are about £10 or $10. So it's like stuff like that I'm trying to like do myself so I can bring it to anybody who's a patron. Okay, let's go. Let's get this Death Guard green going. So we're just going to colour up the cloth with this one. I quite like my streaming setup now. I tried with a border on the last stream, but it felt like it was taking up too much of the screen. And actually you probably just want to be able to watch everything, so I've sort of gone for this simpler one, and I'm using my Stream Deck, which I've programmed all the programmed all my buttons on, so I can turn me on and off, and I can switch to my alternative camera, my ZV-1, or my EV10 is my other camera. So this one's my EV10, and then this one's my ZV-1. So this is quite nice. Like I quite like these, and I've got these extra screens that I think I was muted then, wasn't I? Yeah, that is the problem with the Stream Deck. Part of it mutes, and some of it doesn't. Yeah, the Stream Deck really does actually help. Like it makes it a lot easier for me to to just sort of quickly pop onto mute if I need to. And if I'm bored of showing my face, I can do this. Actually, if you're bored of seeing my face, just give me a shout and we'll turn it off. The other thing I'm doing while I've got you, K-West, is I'm a developer by trade. Like, I build systems. I built virtual reality games and virtual reality applications to use in school, stuff like that. That's like one of my past and a bit of a side hustle. My company has released virtual reality games. I don't do it so much anymore. I did it when the Oculus first came out. Anyway, that aside is I'm a bit of a developer, so I'm currently looking at, can I integrate into this chat and allow us to do like quizzes as we're going along, so you guys can put I'll put a question on the screen and then you can say answer 1, 2, 3 or 4 and it'll count up your answers and let you know how what score you've got. What's this? We got an Oculus this year after years of begging. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love the Oculus. I loved it a lot more when it first came out. But the Quest is amazing. Quest, any of them really. I've got so many different virtual reality headsets around my house because I was doing a lot of work with them. So I've got quite a lot of Picos. If you know anything about Pico, which was trying to be a competitor to Oculus. It was really good for business applications, but not so great for consumer. Probably talked more about VR now than Lord of the Rings, but I'm pretty sure most of my games. So I wrote a game called Salvo, which is probably not available anymore. Yeah, so the painting, I've actually, one of the games that I got about 90% of the way through was a dungeon miniature game where you could paint up your own models. I never fully finished the game because Quest wouldn't give me permission to launch it on their store. It's one of the reasons that sort of turned me off of Quest, because I'd already built and deployed 4 titles on the Oculus Rift, and I wanted to build this next title for the Quest, but they've got this weird application process for publishing games, and they seem to just want big studios. So me being this sort of small independent studio didn't really fit in with what they were after, so it sort of put me off of development a little bit. And then I got a new job. But some of the things I did, so while we're talking about it, I might as well let you know some of the things I did. So I built a game called Salvo, and I did that on the Rift, which went down really well. It did really well as their sort of game. It was essentially battleships in VR, but you was like down at the bottom of the ocean, and when you sank other ships, you saw them sinking around you, and there were animals and stuff. And that was when the Oculus Go launched. So if anybody knows the Oculus Go, it was the sort of 3 Degrees of Freedom headset. That title that I made was picked to be one of the first 75 games launched on that title, and I went to San Jose for the Oculus Connect 5 conference to sort of show my game at that conference, and then met John Carmack there, who's like my development hero. John Carmack is the guy who wrote Doom, along with John Romero. So that was really cool. Like, I love that. It's just a shame I couldn't do more with virtual reality, really. But there's possibility of VR tour of your monitoring. There actually is a possibility of doing something like that. I've got a lot of the 3D models. I was contemplating putting something together. I've sort of been thinking about, like, is there a side project I can do to bring my development skills into HobbyIt, into sort of this. So I am trying to think of some ideas. I do like the idea of doing VR for something, but I don't know what it would be, if I'm honest. I could pick up my dungeon stuff again, but then that's a bit more. It's not really Lord of the Rings, and I don't think that the Tolkien estate will give me permission to to use Lord of the Rings officially in that VR game. You can see there's only tiny little bits of cloth here, and this green will dull down, I think, once it gets a coating on, but it does sort of just bring a different shades to the model, which is quite nice. Right, we're gonna speed this up. Let's get to the next stage. And once we've done this, I think we can probably oil wash. Yeah, the green KW. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. I agree. I think I'm going to do a oil wash, like I did on the Uruk-Hai Captain, because I really did enjoy the sort of look of it. So I think this green is in the sort of similar, not hue, saturation, as the red skin. So I think once it's got a colour on top to sort of blend in with it, it should look really good. Nothing if not artisanal, K West. Sometimes, do you ever look at models and think, right, what is that? Like, I don't actually know what that little bit is. It looks like when they moulded it, they needed that to be closed, so they just filled it in. I think it's got some sort of cloth texture, so maybe we just go with a little bit of cloth. I mean, some there's very little, like this one has got next to none. It's just got that like little bit there. So I don't know if you saw my last oil wash, but I went really thick with it. I think I'm going to go a little bit thinner this time, and possibly not leave it quite as long as I did. That's it's far too creative for me, that K West. I'm more of a paint between the lines kind of guy. Although saying that, I have been learning a lot on this journey, so there's every chance I could do something with those areas in future models. Maybe break out some green stuff and see if I can do any actual sculpting. Now I've said it, I want to try it. I've got some green stuff in one of my drawers which I've never opened. I'll have to see if I can find an opportunity to do a little freehand sculpt. Something simple first. I apologise if I'm sending love hearts to anybody. No idea why. Yeah, I think that floating heart just seems to like stay there, and it's actually quite annoying. I think I might be able to turn it off. I did see a setting for turning off reactions, and I think that might class as a reaction, so I can probably turn it off on the next stream. I did see a lot of love hearts coming through, so I quite enjoyed it, my life and what it brings. So I'm not adverse to people sending more love hearts, if I'm honest. In fact, now you've sent me some, I'll be disappointed if I don't get more. So I'm just saying, every couple of minutes or so, feel free to just send another reaction. What other reactions are in there? That's a weak attempt to get people to send reactions in it. So we've got a few people watching, so everybody needs to spam loads of reactions for a while. I need some more green paint. What was that? A celebration? Party hat. Everyone's spam all your reaction. Maybe different watches have different reacts. 100%. Love hearts. Smiley face. The really quick reactions that sometimes you can barely see what they are. I don't. Okay, thanks for that, guys. Appreciate that. I mean, I don't really understand what the purpose of them is either, actually. Is it literally just so you can do a quick sort of reaction to something that's being said? I wonder if they show on the replay. It feels a little bit pointless to me. Maybe the more reacts that happen, the more YouTube thinks these guys are really enjoying this live stream. So let me give that to another 1 million users. Yeah, maybe, but I don't. So I don't get any other information than I get to see like that little animation that you got. Green bikini it is, yeah. I mean, it feels, because if you watch Twitch, you get like quite a lot of integrated reactions, don't you? So it feels like some developer at YouTube has gone, well, we need something like that, and that's their relatively poor attempt at bringing in the Twitch type reactions. I think I might have run out of drink. No, still got a bit left. We're still good. My life and what it brings. I think you asked me a comment on one of the videos for the blue foam. Did you manage to get some blue foam? And if you did, what did you do anything interesting with it yet, or is it like me where you buy things and it because you think it's going to be a great idea and then it lives in a drawer? So have you actually made anything with it yet, or have you got an idea what you want to make with it yet? I've missed one. I'll clean my brush, but I don't need to yet. Okay, so I've got a new archway coming shortly with some templates for cutting an archway, mainly for the Rohan door. I've created some little templates which should create like a more precise archway for me, because when I was cutting it freehand it wasn't so great. But yeah, that's exactly what I do. I see these things, I'm like, I need to have that in my life. It's going to complete my life. It's going to make my hobby so much more fun. And I buy all these things and realise I don't need to use it for anything yet. Right, well I think we're getting to the point where we can do a oil wash. Let me pop a model up here so it's not just a blank screen. So we're doing not too bad with these, to be fair. We're getting through them nicely. The oil wash we can probably be quite aggressive with. I mean, the biggest issue we've got with the oil wash is it needs time to dry. So I don't know how much time it's going to need while we're on stream and whether it will actually dry or not. Okay, so the glasses are definitely a product that you need if you're a little bit older, like me, and your eyesight's going a little bit like me. The glasses are just useful. They come with different lenses as well, so for different magnifications I just use the strongest magnification just because these things are so small, but pretty much any crafts actually the glasses really come in handy. I did try like a bigger magnifying glass, but that didn't work out quite so nicely for me. Okay, shall we do some oil washing then? Let me switch this camera over. I'm just going to turn it off for a second while I just fiddle around in these drawers, so bear with me. Right, I got what I need. I was just looking for a pipette. So let's create our wash. So we're going to use, yes, oil wash. We're going to use burnt sienna and lamp black. Let me just turn me off. We're going to use burnt sienna and lamp black. I'll get you a link, my life and what it brings. I can get the same ones because I have bought another set of glasses, but they didn't work quite so nicely, and I dropped back to these ones. The only problem with these ones, while you're asking, is they take batteries in here, and if you put all the batteries in, it's very heavy. It tends to tends to rub on your nose quite a lot, so I take the batteries off. The batteries are for the little light on the top, but I don't use that. Right, so let's see if we've learned anything from the last one. I learned that white spirits, even the artist one, definitely smells. I need to get some odorless ones. I bought the artist one because I thought it wouldn't smell, but it definitely does. Not sure how much I'll need. I'm going to go a little bit thinner and probably a little bit more brown than I did in the last wash. It was very, very dark, and I think the black sort of overpowered it. So I'm going to try less black in this wash and see if we see what we like. So oil washes, I was like terrified of an oil wash for some reason. I think it's the idea that you have to use solvents, you can't just use water. It takes so long to dry. I was like terrified of the idea of using an oil wash, and that's why in the last video I've had these for ages and not used them. Another one of those purchases where you spend all the money because they're not massively cheap, and just don't do anything. So I thought I'm just going to use it, so I just did it on the last ones. These little metal trays are very handy. I use these a lot. I got like a pack of 10 of those, and pipettes come in very handy as well. So I think last time I did about 2 or 3 of these, but it was quite... Well, I definitely didn't do 2 or 3 because that's quite a lot. Let's do that much, and we'll see. Oh, I can smell it already. It's going to clear my sinuses, this. I also bought these like cheap brushes so that I don't have to worry too much about damaging the brushes. I can just throw them away. The colour looks better than my last one. I can see it's... I don't know how well it picks up on the camera, but the colour is definitely much more... much browner, which should give a nice look on the... You can see I'm trying to arrange the paint so it looks nice in shot. The brown should come across much nicer on the Uruk-Hai armour, give it more of a sort of rust colour rather than just dark black. I think one of the keys, I listened to Vincent, one of the keys apparently is to make sure you mix it really well. So let's do that. I wish I could share this smell with you guys, because this is not pleasant. I think I'm going to leave this stream and research some odorless thinner. You need a... Believe it or not, the love heart's in the way of the last words. I can't actually... You need a... Turn it around, it will draw the fumes away. Fan? You need a fan. Turn it around. Is that what it says? It's literally stuck behind the love heart, my life, so when another message comes through, in fact, just send XXX. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you need a fan. Turn it around, it will draw the fumes away. Oh, I see. What do we reckon? I mean, it's mixed well. I'm definitely turning that love heart off in the next one because I couldn't read the message. Is that thin enough? It looks a little bit thinner than the last one. I think what I'm going to do is put my glove on again so that I don't... Putting a brush with oil paints in your mouth has got to be good, right? That can't be a problem with doing that. Let's go. It's oil wash. Switch my camera back. Actually, give me 1 second just before we start. Cheers. It's all gone. I need some more. Just give me 1 minute and I'll be right back. Just need to nip downstairs. Sorry about that. Let me just put my microphone back on. You see, I have to take this off when I move too far from my desk. Hopefully I've got that in the right place. There we go. Is the microphone volume okay, by the way? Like, it looks like it's okay on my side, but it's hard to tell. Right, do I need the glasses on? Let's try it with the glasses on. And hope that this is enough. I think it's going to be fine. And let's start. I've got all the models sort of lined up here, so I'm just going to put them in line so I can start from left to right. I won't miss any, and then we can see how long. So I was going to, with this oil paint this time, leave it for about probably leave it for around about an hour or something before we wipe it off, but let's see how it goes. So we'll start a timer when I do this first when we start this first model. I'll take a note of the time and we'll see how long. So let's switch over to this camera. I wonder if I can make that a bit bigger actually. Let me just see if I can mess with the just gonna see if I can make it bigger, but I don't think I can. A bit bigger, isn't it? I'll do. Okay, so let's go. Got lots of oil paint on here, and this is where you just have to be brave. We'll be doing this for a few hours, and now we're going to cover it over. So we're at 9:42, and I don't think I need the glasses. I don't need to see that close, and we just put it on everywhere. Okay, the consistency looks a bit better than the last version that I did, and I can see the thickness is actually a bit better. I can see it sort of soaking straight into all the crevices. It does feel like it needs you to be like quite brave, because you are just painting over, particularly if you like took a lot more time than I did on doing these. You would be extremely nervous, I think, about just putting on a large amount of oils on top of your beautiful paint job. I've got a feeling we're going to get through this in quicker than an hour. Thank you very much, My Life from White Rings. I already forgot, so that's very useful. What we could do is we could try one after half an hour and just see what it's like. I think in the cases with oils, I think there's two things that happen. I think the solvent evaporates and the oil cures. Whereas with acrylics, it's essentially the water evaporating is what cures the paint. But I think with oils, it's is it oxidization rather than drying. So it cures. So it just takes longer. I think some people say it takes like a week to dry. I know somebody asked that on the video that I did. I can already tell I'm going to enjoy this colour. I think the fact we went with a lot more of the burnt sienna than just a pure black is just really helped the shade to be on the brown side. And we definitely learned a lesson in that first attempt as well, because this consistency is much better. So I think slightly thinner is going into the recesses much better. So it was particularly, what does the oil wash do? So obviously it's a darker colour. So what happens with the oil wash, or any wash really? Typically you'd use an acrylic wash. This is in the wrong place, isn't it? There we go. The oil wash seeps into all the finer detail, and you end up with more of the dark wash in the recesses, which when it cures or dries, it acts like a shadow, and it sort of brings like finer detail to life in the models. And on these models where they've got finer detail, it looks really good. So even on this leg here, you can see in the sculpt just there is like a line in the leg. And now we've put an oil wash in there, it's filled that line up a bit more. And the same with this chainmail here. You can sort of see it moves off the top of the chainmail and sinks into all the holes, which then brings like darkness into those holes. Essentially recess shading. And then what we do is we wipe the oil off the high points, which then acts a little bit like a highlight. And you can highlight on top afterwards then, which some people do, but I really liked the look with the Uruk-Hai Captain where I didn't actually re-highlight afterwards. But again, like, I'm learning this technique, so I think it's one of those where we'll see. So you can probably see on this armor here, when I put that on, it sinks straight into the sort of deeper parts of the model. And the advantage with the oil wash, or at least the advantage that I'm seeing and my understanding, is you get this longer working time. Whereas when you use an acrylic, it dries completely, so it will change the shade of the paint on top of, it'll change the shade of your acrylic and sort of dulls everything down. With the oil wash, you can actually take most of that off. And additionally, the finish is different. So the finish is between matte and it's like a Wonder Bra lifts and separates the details. Do you know what? That's a better description than I did, K West. So thank you very much for that. Less family friendly. I think I might have to write that down. Actually, if I bring t-shirts out, once I get enough subscribers to bring a t-shirt out, that is a brilliant line for a t-shirt, K West. So what I'll bear that in mind when I'm YouTube famous and everybody wants my t-shirts. Well, we're flying through these washes. I wonder if, while we wait for the washes, I wonder if we can put the basing on. So that takes quite a long time to dry as well, and actually it takes quite a long time to apply. But we should probably be able to do it, and it won't mess with the oil wash. I have to say I'm very excited about this oil wash now. I think it looks, it's going to look great once it's dried and rubbed off. I can already see, like you said, K West, the oil wash on top of that green just has really sort of brought it in line. So just a slight little pop of colour between the reds and the silvers. I've got quite a lot of the oil wash left. I wonder if oil wash is the sort of thing that can I keep it? Like will it keep in a jar, do you think? Like, could I make a batch of oil wash up and put it in something to keep? If it's cures based on oxygen, I wonder if that's a possibility. It might be something I need to quite like to look at, because it'd be quite nice to make a batch of like this. I really like this colour. But I've got some other oil wash colours that I do want to try. I'm going to try use a few different colours on a model to test oil washes. But yeah, I mean, try it is the right answer actually. Put some in somewhere. I've got a tub somewhere that might work. In fact, well, let me do the last one before I move on, because we've only got this. We've only got the no hand guy. No hand guy needs a name actually. I think what happened with this guy is he met Gimli at some point, and Gimli axed off his arm, but Gimli could only reach this high, you see, and he just chopped his arm off. Now he's out for his revenge. Right, my life and what it brings. How long did that take us? Because I don't think it was very long. We've done all the models. And this is the first one, which is clearly nowhere near being dry. 10 minutes, okay. So we sort of need to wait 50 minutes. Let me put one of these up here. I mean, if I change the title of the stream to watching paint dry, then that literally could sit there, right? And you could watch that dry. Once the shine goes off, it's dry. So this, I've got quite a lot of the paint left, but not lots actually, but quite a bit. But I think what I will do is do what My Life and What It Brings said and actually test saving it. So if I look, I've got some little pots which I don't remember where I got these from, but I just thought they looked useful because they're closed. And I used one to keep some spirits in last time for cleaning my brush. So what I might do is put some in mixed and see if this pot can hold the remainder. Watch. So clearly I need to hire K West to come up with titles for my videos and my streams, because in the last 5 minutes we've had an amazing description for oil washes and for the stream. Do you work in marketing, K West? If not, you're wasted. You're wasted doing whatever you're currently doing. It does look good. I'm actually really pleased. So I'll do the test like My Life of What It Brings says, and let's see if that oil wash stays safe in there. Because if it does, I can just mix up I can get something else, somewhat similar, that I can keep different colours in. So then I don't have to mix up every time. I think that'd be great. Okay, so you're a thief, is what we're saying, K West. Fair enough. At least you're an honest thief, so you admitted it once you got caught. I got distracted by Games Workshop's website earlier. We'll talk while I'm cleaning these up, and ended up buying the Arkenstone game that I think was mentioned on the last stream. So I've got that on its way, which comes with all the Hobbits, which I already own. So now I've got 2 boxes of the same, not the Hobbit, sorry, the dwarfs from the Hobbit. So now I've got 2 copies of each one. So what I think I'm going to do with the Return to Arkenstone is I might make a little mini sort of video. Well, it might not be that mini. It sort of inside this series, where I play the Arkenstone game. Maybe I 3D print up some models that sort of go with it to make the game more fun. I'll have a look. So I've got that, and I've got Return to Moria, the other board game, which I might do the same thing with. That seemed to clean up pretty nicely. Cleaning up was one of the things that put me off of oil washes, because there's obviously a simplicity in just using water. So the idea of cleaning up actually put me off. K West, you're saying you used to work in marketing. Was that the answer to that question? You have to remember not to put these in your mouth like you do with the acrylic stuff. Yeah, that's the sort of idea, K West. I don't have much knowledge about the game itself. I just saw it, and it's me, so I see things and I'm like, right, I need that, so I bought it. So it'll come in a few days, so we could maybe have a look, and sort of see what's in there. And then, I would like to do a bit of, I've not done some 3D sculpting in Blender for quite a while. So it will be quite nice for me to find some and do some 3D sculpting and some 3D printing, and it'd be sort of like a little condensed project to work on that's gives me a little something different to do. So I'll have a look once it arrives and we'll see. Right, I definitely think these aren't going to dry. The still very wet. And what time are we on? We're at 10 o'clock. Used to work in my, maybe I got fired for stealing other people's catchy phrases. Yeah, so the Barley's Tomb one is the other one that I bought that I have not opened yet. So again, I thought I could maybe use that to do like mini series with. So I've got both now anyway. So I'll see if there's anything done. Have you played the Barley's Tomb game? Do you exclusively need 2 people, or could you play it on your own? Sounds like a very lonely question, doesn't it? I mean, these are still super wet. All right, okay. I'll open it and give it a go. I wouldn't mind having a play. So right, I think what I'm going to try next. It becomes very procedural this year, kind of. All right, okay. Maybe I'll. Hi, Damien. How are you doing? I think what I might do then is find a friend to play with. I'll drag one of my kids into it, or my wife into it. Yeah, I don't know if I could handle that level of stream and interaction. If I'm honest, K West feels like it'd be too much. Hi, Luke. Thanks very much. I've got some people in Poland watching. Nice. Luke, there will definitely be more on the way. I'm just these are actually for magazine 10, which I might chop this stream down for magazine 10. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try basing the model. I'm wondering if I can adjust the camera angle slightly to give like a downward view. So let's see if this stuff reacts badly when it gets put on the base and mixes a little bit with the model. Because if we can do this bit, we can wait for the paints to dry, the oil wash to dry, while we wait for the base to dry as well. And this stuff does take quite a while to dry. Are you in Nottingham, K West? Isn't Games Workshop's headquarters in Nottingham, or I'm imagining it? I might need to put my glasses back on for this one. So this stuff I use on pretty much every base that I do now. I think base is probably one of those areas where I need to expand my horizons a little bit. I'm getting a bit samey, you know, put this stuff on, put a bit of dry pigment on, a grass tuft or two, and then like call it a day. It feels like there's so much more you can do with a base, and I've not really explored that part of the hobby yet. I did try something a bit more with Bilbo Baggins, where I tried to create him like a wooden floor, but I wasn't happy with it. Alright, okay, yeah, I thought that's where they were, or at least I'd heard of it. It's not that far from me, to be honest. I can see little bits of the oil wash now mixing in with this. I don't think it's going to adversely affect it. I think we can continue. I mean, this is just a PVA varnish and little bits of dirt or dusts and stuff. I mean, that the Orc Rucker Truck Squig Buggy. Rucker Trucker Squid Buggy. I can't actually even say that. It does feel very orcish though, doesn't it? Taking a Meals on Wheels truck and turning it into a weapon. So I think with the bases, I will follow the same recipe that I did for the Ark Captain, which was just the Uruk-Hai Captain, which was just this with a wash, and I could try the oil wash on here, the one that I've got left, and some black dry pigment, and I actually think it worked really well, so I might try that again. Okay, so the oil wash, when it mixes in, stops this from being sticky. It's not sticking to the base wherever the oil wash has started to mix. I wonder if that'll be a problem later on. Guess we'll find out. We'll do my life and what it brings, which is just try it and see. Damien, if you're still on, is that Sauron in your picture? It looks it's really small on the screen, but it kind of looks like Sauron. It's really hard for me to see it, but it does look like his helmet. I'm not sure if you're still on to be able to answer, but if you are. You think when anybody new comes on and says hi, so we've got Luke and we've got Damien just said hi, do you think I should shout at them to make sure they're subscribed, or should I just let them do it of their own volition? I mean, I kind of recognise Luke's name. I'm wondering if have you commented on any of the videos before, Luke? Everybody's gone quiet now. I've been subbed since some. Okay, cool. Thanks, Luke. I thought I recognised the name. Yeah, it looks familiar. I mean, obviously, I can't remember everyone's, but it does. The name does look familiar, and I do read all the comments, as anybody who comments knows, because I do read them all. I really, actually, I know it's cliche with the comments, and it's probably one of those things that everybody says when they first start a channel, but I really do like enjoy that part of YouTube, particularly where somebody, where I get comments like somebody goes, "Oh, this has really inspired me to go pick up mine," or "really inspired me to go have a go at making those." Like those sort of comments, I just love those so much. One part of the comments that I'd really like to expand on is finding a way of people being able to share things with me, which might be like on Instagram or something, but like anybody who's created anything or painted, like I want to build like a community of people. Like this is quite nice. When did I start Miller? So it's a funny one, this, because I've loved Lord of the Rings for ages, and I did Warhammer 40k with 2nd edition, so 1993. And so yeah, so I did 2nd edition 1993. I used to do it a lot when I was younger. I used to do a lot of painting, and really enjoyed it. And then I guess I grew up and I moved out of home, and I sort of stopped that things when I had real bills to pay rather than spending all my money on Warhammer. Loved Lord of the Rings, fell in love with the movies. I mean, I've got a tattoo on my arm. If you can make that out. Fell in love with the movies, and then it was actually when COVID happened that I found Middle Earth strategy battle game even existed. I happened to pass a Warhammer shop and I went in and saw it. And how I didn't ever see it, I have no idea. So I've not been doing it that long. So what we're up to, for nearly 5 years, I guess. And I really like the painting side of it, and more the terrain modelling side of it. I'm really sort of enjoying. The battle games are a bit of a funny one for me, because I actually prefer like simpler stuff. So now it's getting into courage tests and might and will and fate. Sometimes I wish there was an alternate version where it was still nicely balanced as a game, but was simpler and quicker to play. So you could still continue with like tournament games, but have quicker, more simple games with your friends if that's what you wanted to do. Thanks, Luke. Yeah, I really liked it. I found a tattoo artist that I liked his work, and I had a few sort of chats with him, and he designed up the tattoo for me. He did a couple of other versions, so I'm tempted to get another one. I just don't know what I would get. I particularly like the map of the ring and the shards. So it's like I wanted those things incorporated, and he did such a good job of like designing it up for me, and then just went and sat and got it done in one big sitting. I've got a much more embarrassing tattoo on this arm, which I got when I was 18, which I don't like at all. I was tempted to get it removed. It's not massively embarrassing, but it's not great either, which is why I've not shown it to you. So while we're talking about like me starting Middle Earth strategy battle game, one of the reasons I'm doing this series is because once I found it existed, I started like finding everything I could, and then I found the magazines, and I've always wanted to collect. You know, when you see those adverts for magazines where you buy each, like build a car or build the Enterprise over 50 weeks or 100 weeks. I've always wanted to do one of those, but do the entire thing. So when I found the first magazine, I was like, that it's such a good project idea to get all 91 magazines and just do the entire thing, like learn how to, get better at painting, get better at terrain modeling, learn some new skills that you've never known before. I mean, it just, to me, feels like such a great project that as soon as I found it existed, I just had to go find the magazines. So I found all of the magazines, and then I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, shall I learn how to create videos? And then that's why I'm here now. That's why we're chatting, is just like find other people who want to do the similar sort of thing, want to follow along, love Lord of the Rings, love miniatures or Dungeons and Dragons or whatever it might be. Like try to create a community around those. So you guys are like my firsts. Did you get the special magazines that they made for it? Yes, I did. So there was 3 of those magazines, unsurprisingly. So yes, I've got all 3 magazines. They didn't come with anything though. They come with some battle reports. But I don't think they come with anything else in them. I think it's more like information. I've not fully gone through them, but I do have all of them. So I bought the entire collection off of eBay. I found a guy who had sort of who had collected them, and they had been in his garage for 20 years. So I had a quick chat with him, and he said he had every single one. He'd only opened about 8 of the magazines. And he'd not really painted any of the models other than the ones that you see where I've sort of fixed that painting this much further on. And so it came with that, and it came with the, have you seen the fellowship stand that you can get, where you can place all the members of the fellowship around? It says Games Workshop on the side of it. Came with that as well, so I'm looking forward to painting that up actually. Oh, maybe it did, Luke, because actually, let me just double check. So this little box here is part of the collection of things that he gave me that had been taken off the magazines, and some of them I'm not yet sure which magazine they're from. So what was it supposed to come with? Arwen and Frodo on horseback. Oh, so I'm going to guess that's what... Nope, that looks like Gandalf. Yeah, that's definitely Gandalf. Hopefully it is in one of these. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the stand. It looks really good. It's really really good quality. So I think it should be a nice one to paint up. So if I don't have that model, Luke, now I'm going to have to go find it. I think that might be it. Nope, that's not it. It doesn't say what it is. It's got I can't actually tell what that is. But it's not Arwen. Yeah, no, and that's the Rohan Captain. So maybe I am missing the model. Okay, so you Luke, thank you. So this is probably King Aragorn on horseback. That will be Gandalf on horseback. So I need to find Arwen and Frodo. So it might either still be with the magazine, because that does look like Aragorn. Oh, this is Aragorn. From the look of the cloak, it looks like that might be Aragon when he was going to the Black Gates. So is that the right sort of model for Return of the King? Probably is, right? So I'm gonna have to now find. Yeah, okay, cool. So I think that's what they are. So I wonder. I now need to go on the hunt and through the big box that I've got with all these models in to make sure I've got the Arwen and on Frodo on horseback, because I've not seen it. But it's possible it's still attached to the magazine. Because one thing I tried to do actually with the magazines, which is why I don't know a lot about all of them, is I try to not read them until I'm ready to read them. A bit like the mystery of finding out what's in. Like, it's just come in the post for me 20 years ago. Like, so I try not to read them because I want that sort of surprise. As like, oh, I'm painting them up this week, or I'm building that this week. So a lot of the magazines I've not even looked at. A lot of them are still in the majority of them are still in the plastic. So I've not sat and gone through them because I do want that excitement of seeing a particular model that week that I'm interested in. The oil's not messed up too much with this, I don't think. So Luke, how long have you been playing? Because you're obviously very knowledgeable about the magazines themselves. The guy's spear just fell off by me gently touching it. Like, really gently touching it. So I'm going to have to put that to the side and repair this guy later. Still working on your collection of magazines. Yeah, I think I was quite lucky. I think because the majority that I've got are all still sealed. I would say getting them sealed is not really a problem. Like, I've opened some of the seals. The main thing I was looking for was complete, so that I didn't then have to go find the models separately, because some of the models separately are extremely expensive. So I was working on the basis of, if I buy all of them in one go, it might be expensive as a collection, but I get everything. So one of the things was, can I find somebody who's got them all in majority of unopened? Because if they're unopened and they've got the models still with them, you can be quite confident that you've got the full collection. So while it was expensive for me to buy all the magazines, it was like a little treat to myself. I think overall I did quite well. I think if I separated him off and sold them separately, they'd be worth more than what I paid to buy them total. Not including the time. So Luke, you'll know the time spent trying to find one that's not ridiculously priced. Like, I saved a lot of time by buying it from one place. This one has got a lot of oil on the thing. It must have all drilled down his feet. And this is not sticking at all. So I think we probably can't do that one. Or the next one. So we got quite a way through those. We can My life and what it brings. Are you still on? What time are we looking at? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty similar sort of story really. 31 minutes. All right, okay. Thanks, my life. I don't think this oil paint's going to be dry enough. So pretty similar, I guess, Luke, to myself in. Because I got the starter set. Which one did I? I'm pretty sure I got the previous Pelennor because they've re-released it, haven't they? Which I've not painted the majority of that up actually. I'm looking over this direction because I've got a pile of Games Workshop boxes over there that I've never opened, and Pelennor Fields is one of those boxes. Oh, is it Osgiliath now? No, it's Pelennor, isn't it? Oh no, is it Battle for Osgiliath? Is that the new box set? So I don't own that box set, but I think it is a Battle for Osgiliath, isn't it? I didn't start Lord of the Rings till the Osgiliath. Yeah, the new one is Osgiliath. I've seen it. It's K West. I'm just reading your message. Okay, so you've not been in there that long either, K West. I was half expecting you to say I've been doing it since it first came out. You're veterans of the game, so it's nice that we're on sort of similar paths. I think you can get, just so you know, Luke, you can get these digital copies of the books available. It's not the same, obviously, as having them in your hands, but if you're sort of struggling to get one and you want to look through it, you can get digital copies of it. So that might be an option if you're sort of looking for it, but I'm assuming that you're trying to do the whole collection. So let me just use the light on here, and it should help us see how wet it still is. It's a bit bright for you, isn't it? Let me turn the brightness down. Maybe a slightly different colour. So we can see he's still wet up on the sort of the top part of his arm. Yeah, I agree, Luke. I mean, I saw them all as well, and technically I could have used them, but there's definitely something nice about like physically owning the products. Like if you're going to be a collector, you have to collect, right? So the majority of this paint, like this arm, is almost dry. The back, the difficulty is sometimes it looks wet, but it's not. It looks quite dry. I think we might have bought some time, but I feel like we need another 10 minutes or so. Like that pool of is definitely going to be a problem. We've lost a few people. I think due to the fact that this needs to dry properly before we can do the next stage, I think it's probably going to take too long to sit on stream. But I don't mind sort of hanging around for 5 more minutes or so. My drinks ran dry. Luke, which one are you currently looking for? Are you looking for a particular magazine at the minute? I think you said a bit earlier that you're looking for one, or you've just seen one. Tell you what we'll do. Luke, you get the version that you're looking for, and let me go get one of my weird collectibles. In many ways, I'm discovering it with you. I picked up the old first edition. Yeah, I agree, K West. I think there is something nice about the sort of simplicity of rules sometimes. Like I think my view on video games is very similar actually. The role playing games nowadays tend to be extremely detailed and quite difficult to get in. Whereas when I was younger, you could do a role playing game and just play it. It felt like much simpler, much sort of more fun, but still just as engaging. And it seems through the years complexity gets added in. I think that's something. It's very similar with something like a board game like this. That complexity sort of gets into the game. And sometimes you just want a simple game where you don't have to worry too much. Yeah, I think I actually really, I think they look good. I think once they get sponged off, um, the colours should look really good. I obviously can't leave them, so I can't leave them to cure overnight. Luke, I'm not 100% sure, really. I think even just having three of you on like today chatting and stuff, I would absolutely do more streams if I want to build that community. I've really enjoyed talking to you. It's been a lot of fun. So I will do more. I think it's going to be a case of like that balance between I've got so many hours in the day. Where do I put those hours? But I will definitely do more and see how they go. I'll do some more crafting streams as well, I think. Um, one of the difficulties for me with the streaming is I need to record the video, so I tend to be working on the video at when I'm painting. I need my cameras, so like right now I'm using both my cameras to run this stream, and I need those cameras to record properly. And it'd be difficult to turn this because I need that sort of clean. I use 4K video so that I can get the detail better. I couldn't use these videos. Um, so yeah, I need to find projects that I can do, which is what I did with the Rohan houses actually. Yeah, we should definitely grab a drink. Unfortunately, mine is empty. K West, so feel free to send me a beer, and I will definitely drink it. Just bear with me one sec, guys. I'll let me just go get something, and I will come straight back. Thanks for waiting. I've just I'm gonna have to actually get these oil paints off, so I'm just gonna stay on stream and get them off. So if you want to stay around, then please do. I might as well finish them off. But while we're waiting for that, I thought I would get this. I've got this strange desire to buy everything Lord of the Rings that I can find, so I thought I'll show you some of my weird stuff that I buy online, and you can maybe help me find what one of them is. So this is just one of the boxes. I've actually got a huge cardboard box back there, which is, oh, this camera's right in the way, isn't it? Let me yeah, I've got this sort of huge box of stuff, which is just like weird stuff I find for Lord of the Rings that I just buy. I can't help myself. So this little treat is a unopened box of limited edition collector's tin and 2 decks of playing cards. Never been opened. Not sure when this is from. That's freaking it with the faces. Orcs in the background. So I've not. This has not been opened, and I've not opened it myself. I think there's a. Yeah, it's weird Lord of the Rings stuff. This is not the weird one. This is I just saw it's been unopened, and I just had to buy it. I think there's like a. In the Quest of the Ring Bearer series, there's part of it that you use playing cards for, and that's why I bought these, because I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I can once I get there. So I don't know why this was made. This is the Fellowship of the Ring. I don't know if I managed to find the other ones, but I've just got this habit of finding weird stuff. Now that's not weird, right? But this one, I'll be amazed if you've seen these. I mean, just look how cool this is. So this is, you look through here and you press this button at the bottom and it changes the picture. So we've got Frodo, Merry and Frodo holding the ring under the tree. Frodo being stabbed. Frodo talking to Aragorn by the look of it. Frodo hiding from the cave troll. And then the title for the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. And there's like 10 pictures in each one. So let me see if you can. Oh, my camera's just turned off. That's annoying. So I was going to use that camera to show you this stuff. Let me switch over to my other camera and see if I can get it on here. So can you see that? Like, there's a whole. I've got like a whole collection of them. And these are the ones that, if you can, like, go look around the internet and see if you can find what these even are, because I don't know what they are or where they came from. I'm going to guess that they were like given away in. Yeah, so it is a small viewfinder, My Life and What It Brings. So it's got like 10 different pictures in each one. I just don't know where they're from. So we've got the ring wraiths. We've got Frodo from which one's that? Fellowship of the Ring. We've got an Aragorn one. I'm assuming they came with the movies or something, but I've not found any details for them, and I don't really know what to search to find them. So if you're on and watching, get yourself on Google and see if you can find them while we're on. So they all say Fellowship of the Ring on them, and we've got Gandalf. I'm assuming there was more than these. But I just thought when I saw them, I just thought I had to have them. I don't think you'll be able to see through it. I'm pretty sure it won't be able to focus. And then the other one, which everybody thought I was mental for buying, is this little treat. Yeah, Luke. I mean, like I say, I've got a big box, so I can get more out. I've got a load of jigsaws as well, which are a lot of fun. But this one is an unopened watch. I mean, why wouldn't you want this? I just don't know why you wouldn't want this in your life. I mean, everything you need is your life's just gonna be better if you're walking around with this on your wrist. Can I adjust this camera a little bit? Get a bit more in shot, maybe. What else have I got in this particular box? This came from the Royal Mint. This was done not so long ago. I don't think. I need to be careful with this one because this one was actually quite expensive. It was released by the Royal Mint not so long ago, and they've released a few different versions of the coin, and it was, I think there was a few different proofs, and I bought the sterling silver proof, so it's quite expensive. My wife was not massively happy with me when I told her I'd bought it, because what do I actually need it for? Yes, KOS, just bringing it in. Did you steal that one from somewhere, or did you sort of think of that one yourself? We'll open this and we'll have a quick look. I sometimes just like can't help myself. There's really like no need for it. But this was released for celebrating the life and work of J.R.R. Tolkien. And it comes in this nice presentation box. So this is limited edition. I think it was 5,000. So this is 2 free, 4 free. And this is actually like sterling silver proof, so they do like different proof levels. This was the second highest proof level. The first highest proof level was way too expensive. I think it was made out of 24 karat gold or something. So I bought this one, which is all sterling silver, and the proof version is something along the lines of, like, the higher the proof, the more the check everything on the coin. Again, I don't collect coins. I just saw that and wanted it. Yeah, I agree, Luke. I might need to put you in contact with my wife so you can convince her that it was good, because I still get a little bit of grief over the purchase of the coin, mainly because I bought it and then it sat in the box. But I'm like, it might be worth more, like when I leave it to the kids in hopefully at least another 40 years. Thanks, Luke. I might call upon your services more often when I buy weird stuff. Let me. Let's just have a quick check on this and see. It's still really wet. I think it might just be me and you now, Luke. Just bear with me a second again. Let me. Oh no, it's more people. 1 minute. Right, I'm back. My other camera's gone. So my life and what it brings. It's been an hour, but this definitely is not as cured as the last time I did it. I wonder if being runnier has meant that it's taking longer to dry. What I might do is take one of them in the next 10 minutes. So before then, I'll just grab two more things. Unfortunately, my other camera's gone off, so I can't really like use the top-down view. But if anybody's got, see what this is. Can anybody have like a guess as to what might be in this box? Because I know you're going to be super jealous when I open it. Has anybody even like seen this before? I'll give it a little rattle, might give you a hint. Just like Christmas morning, right? Where you got a present. What's in it? Have got anybody with any idea? Silence is deafening, people. I assume it did come out before the movies. That's correct. It's definitely got that look of before the movies on it, like with the artwork. I'm assuming this is a... Yes, KOS, he's nailed it. I'm assuming this is a ring wraith. Yeah, because he's holding the ring. But then is this Frodo and don't know who this weird guy is. But yeah, you got it straight away. I mean, I don't even own a tape player. Maybe I could get a classic Walkman. Actually, is there such a thing as a Lord of the Rings Walkman? That's definitely Googleable. I don't know what's in here actually. Oh, so we've got the task. Oh, okay, this is interesting. So Frodo is voiced by Ian Holm. Yeah, maybe. I wonder, Luke, actually, do you think I'd have any copyright issues with playing one of these tapes in the background? Surely nobody's going to have a problem with that, right? It is the BBC, though. Just seeing if I recognise any more of these names. If you can see those names, what have we got? Yes, I've got that one as well, K West, actually. I didn't bring it up. It's got like 4 little cassettes in. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine them having a problem. Can you imagine getting a copyright strike from Google and when I do get monetized, which I'm not actually monetized yet. I don't think I'll be there for a while. Can you imagine getting a copyright strike for playing the 1987, well, 1981 cassette tapes of Lord of the Rings? I don't recognise any of these names other than Ian Holm. William Nye sounds familiar. Anyway, so we could enjoy The Shadows of the Past episode 1 if I'm allowed. Maybe we just do it and see. I don't think there's like 5 of us on the stream, right? Nobody's you guys aren't going to report me to the BBC, are you, for breaking 1987 copyright laws? So shall we do one of these now? We've got. So we've got a little treat for us now. We've got the Lord of the Rings Return of the King jigsaw book. We'll do a couple of jigsaws before we hopefully have time to clean off this model because he is getting drier. He's curing. Yeah, I think so, Luke. I mean, it might not be a great idea. I don't even know how I would stream. How am I going to stream? Um, like, how am I actually going to stream that in the first place? Why is this the picture really jerky for anybody else? Oh, my battery's nearly run out. Actually, if I go off, it's because my battery is not charged. I think my camera's battery is not able to last this long. So if I do go off, I apologise. But and I'll thank everybody for being on now. It's been wonderful having you on and talking to you. Let's quickly do Aragon jigsaw, which I'm pretty sure these have never been done before. These jigsaws are about the level I can handle. Thanks, Luke. I appreciate that. It has been a lot of fun, like talking to you guys. BBC destroyed a lot of old tapes, so you're doing a favour creating them a backup copy. This is not legal advice. Yeah, thanks, KOS. So if they do, I'm just going to copy that message from you, but without the "this is not legal advice" in brackets, and that is going to be my defence. So let's see how we. So how do you guys do jigsaws? Corners first, yeah. Let's go. It shouldn't take us too long. This one. He says, immediately messing it up. Where does that bit go? It's my own fault for not going corners first. I think I could turn this into a game, and you guys can pick which piece goes where. I'd have to number all the pieces. That's got to go there, right? Can we just appreciate how Viggo Mortensen was like the most perfect Aragon? Have you guys watched the making of videos? You probably have, like the behind the scenes making of each of the movies, like the dedication that like he put in. Yeah, I know, right? That he put into like that part. I just don't know that, and all of them actually, all the cast. Like, I just don't know that that's ever been repeated in cinema since that cast did it. I think that's why the movie sort of come across so well. The cast clearly loved the material and were and wanted to like respect that material. Yeah, your mum got the DVD, and yeah, so I've watched them all again recently actually, because I wanted to watch the Hobbit ones as well, which weren't quite as good. Anyway, we finished that puzzle. And the dedication that they put into the video movies was just so good. I just like it sort of inspires me to watch the movies again just by seeing some of the making ofs, because some of the cast were just so amazing at the parts. What I'm going to do is we're going to get one of these, and let's see if we can at least clean one of them up on stream, because all we need to do really is wipe off the paint, a lot of the oils. It's just like a pool of oil inside the neck, which obviously I put a bit too much on, but a lot of the rest of it looks okay. So maybe we'll clean up the back of this. So at least you guys you've stuck with me on the stream, so it'd be good to at least get to a point where we can see what roughly one model is going to look like. I'm just looking for my sponge wipes, which I can't seem to find. Oh, here we go. So let's see if we can just wipe this off, and This is where the back's dried too much because I've been waiting for the front to dry. So I think it's actually really subtle. I think this, and it's hard to see the sort of full effect, like particularly on the camera. And I don't really know how to. I'm looking for my glasses, which I've put somewhere now and can't find them. It's hard to sort of pick up the finer details on the camera because everything's just so small. But I can definitely tell that it's made a difference, and that wetness definitely needs to go before I can do it properly. Yeah, if you can find that little ViewMaster thing and let me know what it is, because I couldn't find it, and I'm pretty good at Googling usually, because they're all from the Fellowship of the Ring, so then I need to collect the rest now, clearly. They actually clean it up quite well, but unfortunately I don't think it picks up quite so well on the camera. I wish it picked up much more than it does. But when I'm looking at this, I can see just how like dirty it is on like the high points, particularly down on the green. And then just wiping this over, I can see it immediately sort of takes it off the higher points. It's a really weird. I don't properly know how. Maybe K West can help with this, but I don't properly know how to describe the sort of the way it looks with oil washes. It's just so different from an acrylic wash. It's almost like it's got a texture or a realness about it, like a real dirty grime. It's in America and costs about almost $50 with shipping. Is that the little ViewMaster things? Luke, have you managed to find some? Yeah, I'm hoping it picks up. Okay, Luke, then you need to email me them or yeah, find a way to contact me and email me. Because I mean, I'm not too happy about the idea. Or just one of them, and it costs $50 for shipping. Don't weigh anything. Well, actually, even if there's just one ad, I can maybe have a look, and it helps sort of narrow down. Sorry, K West. I sort of got distracted then, but yeah, they do look really good actually with just a simple wipe. It does, like I say, it's quite hard to describe, but it just adds it. It's a real, well, lifelike, real sort of texture and colour and shade to everything on them. Like we're so much more than an acrylic wash, which just doesn't give the same effect. But I'm not clever enough to know why. Oh, we've just lost his arms. I'm gonna have to off stream. I'm gonna have to fix 3 of them now. You might be able to, Luke. I think if you go on my website, I can't remember if I put a contact us page on there, or you can just email me. It's mike@hobbyit.co.uk. and I'll get it from that. So that's Mike, M-I-K-E. I'm sure I didn't have to spell that, but just in case. So Mike at HobbyIt.co.uk. If you send it there, that'll do. Okay, yeah, let me see then. Let me get one of the greens. One that we've done, because this one's a good one. Let's see if I can put a bit of light on it for you, and I'll change it to a 5,500 Kelvin light, which is daylight. It's a bit bright. Can you see those green shades now, KWS? So like it just looks so natural next to the red now, but still like a little sort of pop of colour, whereas before we did the wash. Yes, Luke, it's Mike at HobbyIt.co.uk. So HobbyIt as in like the name of my channel. So hopefully you can see that colour. I think it looks really good, that green against the red. Like it's still natural and still like feels very Uruk-Hai-ish. My other ones that I've got are in like a light grey. So I wanted these Uruk-Hai to sort of look slightly different. One thing I've noticed with these sponges is they seem to get eaten. I'm doing it off I'm doing it off camera. The sponges seem to get eaten by the oils. Maybe I need some different sponges. I actually think this is one of those cases where I might spend a bit of time and just re-highlight the edges with the original colour, because I think it would really sort of bring this green fabric to life, actually, just doing that, and not necessarily on the skin, but on there, and maybe give the hair like a slight light grey dry brush. But other than that, I think they're there. I don't want to do too much to the armour, because I want it to be really sort of dirty and dingy armour, so I don't want to do too much to him. Right, let's go guys, let's get through. Let's do a quick rub down of all these. I must say I do like the oil wash natural look. I'm not sure how much it fits in with the movies. Like would this sort of oil wash work on hobbits, for example, or would it make them too dirty and grimy? It probably adds realism, but does it make them? Does it take away from the hobbits? I can probably check it, Luke, and just see if I received anything. Yep, Luke, I got it. Thanks very much. I won't have a look at it on stream because that's boring for everybody. But yeah, appreciate sending that across. Really useful. It might point me in some directions for more. Luke, I might need to call upon you to talk to my wife about the fact that you made me spend $50 shipping a tiny little thing from America. Yeah, you're probably right actually, K West. Because it is like a darker environment, right? Like they're not in the sunshine. It sort of feels like there would be a bit more darker. Again, I'll do a my life and what it brings, and like just try it. I've got the I've got the new ones coming, so I've got another copy of the Fellowship actually in the Barlin's Tomb one, so I could try painting a lot of them up with oil washes of maybe different colours. Would quite like to try like a green oil wash on cloaks and sort of see what that looks like. I've got green. I've got a few different colours of oils. So it'd be quite nice to try a few of the different colours. Like I say, green on the cloak might actually look really nice. Green mixed with a little bit of the brown might actually look quite nice. These are actually coming up really nice now. Like once the shine comes off them, and you're sort of left with like these will go more matte, I think. Once it fully cures, once a lot of that shine comes off, they really look good. What time are we on? It's 11 o'clock, gentlemen. Wow, that's not going to be good. Well, we've only got 2 more to go, and we've wiped them all down. This one actually, it definitely saw the change in this one. It looks like what I'm doing while I'm doing this, by the way, is I'm sort of looking at the different curing on each of the different areas and seeing if when I'm wiping it off I can learn something about the way it's wiping off. So the face looked a lot wetter than the rest, and it's wiped off really nice just on the visor while still maintaining all the grime in the corners. I'm just seeing if I can find any more points that sort of got similar wetness, which the leg is one. You can see with this one I'm pulling a bit too much wetness from underneath the armpit. I mean, I do have to admit, like, they look. You too, Luke. Appreciate you staying on board. Hope to see you back again. I'll try, just before you go, I'll try creating more of a schedule for streams so I can sort of say, right, I'll be streaming this at this time. Sunday probably works best for me. I don't know how that fits for others, but I might try and sort of go, right, I will stream definitively at this time. And then people can know, right, can I be there or not? So I might try doing that rather than just randomly hoping that you guys are on at the same time. And I appreciate you finding that thing for me and the time you spent. It's been really nice chatting with you. And I will see you next time. I think once I've done this, we can all go to bed, gents. A lot of them have got teeth as well, you know. I might touch those teeth in because I think that'll like, help the face pop a little bit. Yeah, I think you're right, K West. I think getting a bit more of a sort of schedule on when I can be online and you know, trying to match it up with people would be great. And just knowing it's coming is always going to help. So the first streams were a test to see if it's something that's worth doing. I think it is. I've really enjoyed like people being on and chatting to you guys and building more of a community and doing some sort of random chats with the weird stuff I buy. It's nice to show some of the stuff I buy. So yeah, I think I will do another one. I will schedule it. Maybe sort of dedicate to sort of say, right, I'll do 4 weeks. I'll have a think about sort of the time frame and how long I can do it, and I'll put it on. I know my life and what it brings. It fell off. It's here. I'm going. Oh no, this one needs a sword, a shield, but it's been lost in the last 20 years, so I need to find something else for it. But I might just leave it off. Right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to thank you all for being on and staying on as long as you have. It's been really good having you all on, and I will speak to you next time. Thanks very much, guys. See you later.